Welcome to Scripts and Giggles with Shoshanna
and Marnie.
So, we were just chatting about a couple of things.
Yeah.
Firstly, we just came back from the cinema.
We did.
We watched Rye Lane.
Blah.
Yeah, we had different thoughts about it.
Yeah. If you love South London, you're gonna like this film because there's a lot of South London. Actually, let's be a bit fair because I feel like South London is a lot bigger.
Oh, then we make it out to be.
We do make it out to be just simply Peckham and Brixton.
Because that's where we spent most of our childhood.
And this film is a celebration of Peckham and Brixton.
I loved it. It was like a love letter to South London.
But no Clapham, no Streatham, none of that stuff, okay?
No.
So if you're not from ends, stay out of it.
It's a love letter to South East London. Like,
yeah.
I felt
Central South London.
Central South London. I felt like my area was seen. Like I knew everywhere they were walking. I've walked there. I've had dates there. I've had fun there.
You're like, you had dates in Peckham?
I know one.
You got a date? I've never been on a date in South London.
No.
I've always been on dates like near work.
Yeah. It's right off.
Give us the details right now.
We went for dinner in Peckham Rye.
Where did you go to dinner?
I don't know if this restaurant exists anymore.
What was it called?
I can't remember.
Tell us right now. I feel like you're being scared.
No, I can't remember. It was not referenced. It was not shown in the film. It's down, like further down, Peckham Rye.
Nando's?
No. This is years ago. I can't
Costa?
Yeah, it's in the coffee.
She had a coffee date.
I can't remember what the name of the restaurant is. I was gonna say Polpo, and that's not.
Oh,
no, it's not. It's not.
Papa exist.
No, I think it does, but it's in Soho, and that's the wrong restaurant. It's a restaurant that was really cool. Like
I didn't know you like fish food, seafood like that. Fish food.
Yeah, no,
fish food.
Yeah, like they were fish food, and it's my favorite Ben and Jerry flavor. It's not my favorite Ben and Jerry.
Fish food, awful.
Yeah, I've never.
Who likes marshmallow?
I don't think I've ever tried it.
I've had it. That was like the first Ben and Jerry's I ever had. And I remember being like, "This is great ice cream," but like,
what's with the marshmallows?
No, I was like, oh, I just assume this is what good ice cream tastes like. You get bits of it, and then I got the chocolate fudge brownie, and I was like, hold on a second, you can have different things.
Yeah, my favourite one was half baked or the cookie dough.
Yeah, chocolate fudge brownie was mine to the day I dip.
Yeah, but even now I don't have it as much. Too much.
No, it can get sickly,
yeah,
and also it never tastes as good as when you first open that.
Yeah. The first time.
Yeah, you need to either eat the entire...
Oh, honestly.
Which I've done before.
It's pop. You can't stop once you pop.
The entire thing. Or you need to eat enough... Not enough... Like, eat it very quickly so that it's not too melted before you put it back in. Because the problem is where it's really starting to melt and then it turns into that sort of soupy...
Yeah.
And then you freeze the soup. And then when you unfreeze the soup, it's still kind of soupy.
Yeah. Just
anyway,
doesn't have that vibe. But anyway,
Rye Lane wasn't soupy.
No, it wasn't at all. I thought it was really sweet. It took me a bit of time to warm up to it, I'll be honest. I also found it terribly unrealistic because I grew up in Peckham, the logic of how they were walking around it didn't make sense. They walked to the Peckham Rye station, then walked to another park, then walked around the station again, then walked then end up in like Yellow Brick or end up in some random places in Peckham and then in Brixton. It wasn't realistic.
I wanted to know the journey that they took from Peckham Rye Lane to Brixton. How do they get there?
There'll be someone out there who will do the map, or maybe the writers.
No, because there's several ways. Like you said, walk back down to Camberwell and then walk up to Brixton.
Yeah, true.
Or do they go up?
Oh, they could go like what to that?
The way the 37 goes, yeah, through Dulwich towards Brixton.
That's a long route.
That is a long walk.
That's a long route.
As I was watching the film, I was like, yeah, you don't really go from Peckham to Brixton like that.
Yeah. To be honest, if this was in real life, it'd be really nice. Like if it's a nice warm sunny day, like we've been having over the bank holiday, you could finish off a day and walk all the way down. Midday though, light outside, because
I don't want to do that. We don't. First of all, both of us don't live in either Brixton or Peckham, so then we're not factoring in the time we have to take to get back to our own houses. And we've somehow made it all the way to Peckham and decided to walk to Brixton to then walk home. I guess Brixton is closest to both of us.
It is, yeah. The person you're with will have to be new to town, new to South London.
Even if he was new to town, I'm not doing that for you. There was nobody on this planet I love that much that I'm doing that walk. I walked one Christmas I walked from my house to Peckham, which
that's not too far.
Not too far.
No.
And then recently I walked from Peckham Rye to Camberwell.
That is not much of a walk.
No, but that's a halfway point if you're going up to Brixton, right?
That is true.
I was ready to go home.
Oh, you were done?
I was like, what the hell? That took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take.
We used to walk from our school to home. What's you guys' house?
Well, not on a near daily basis.
Yeah, okay, true. It was basically when we wanted to continue the conversation and no one wanted to go home.
But I do feel that's the trick with walking to places. You can't. You have to act like you're actually doing short distances.
Yeah.
Because I did this. I was in Angel, and I walked from Angel to Elephant.
Oh, that's a nice walk.
But I was like, we're going to get on the tube at Old Street.
Yeah.
We're going to get on the tube. Like, there probably would have been a straighter journey had we just set out from Angel to walk home. But it surprisingly wasn't that long. Once you get to Bank, you're home.
You're home, yeah. I do think about it, like, I remember when I completed my first 5K without stopping. And I know for some people, like, 5K is nothing. But when I was running the 5K, I always used to stop halfway through, a third of the way through, right at the beginning because I would get out of breath. And the day I completed that run was when I was giving myself short goals. So I was like, okay, I'm going to run to this tree. And then when I got to that tree, I was like, I'm going to run to the next bin. I'm going to run around the path. And it allows me to have short goals to ultimately finish the race. And so, yeah, like bite-sized chunks will help. But with the actual film, there was a lot of walking at the beginning. It was a love story between. Oh, it's a rom-com between.
No spoilers.
Yeah, won't do any spoilers. Definitely take a watch. I think it's a really nice Black British film. It is celebrated as a Black British film. I got a lot of Black British joy as someone who is Black and British.
I'm not a big fan of rom-coms.
Marnie, do you want to say what you said 10 minutes in?
I said I wanted to leave.
I'm sorry.
I said I can't do this.
One thing that I've known watching movies with you and also our previous guest Elijah is that when Marnie is not here for a film, she'll be huffing or puffing straight away. I heard you start to huff. I was like, already?
I said I can't do this. I have to go. Full disclosure, I'm not a rom-com girly. The only rom-com trope I like is enemies to lovers. This film, coming into it, was giving me kind of like 500 Days of Summer, Manic Pixie Dream Girl. The problem with that is I really liked 500 Days of Summer when I watched it as a 13-year-old, right?
It's still one of my favourite rom-coms to this day.
I haven't seen it since, but as an adult, and also maybe potentially falling into that trap of being a bit of a Manic Pixie Dream Girl, I just think it's like, I don't know, it feels so tropey when I see it sometimes. Yeah. Like overly exuberant woman who's going to bring the guy out, the sort of shy guy out. I'm like, no.
Yeah,
I know a lot of brilliant, interesting, fantastic women, and I would love to see one of those fantastic, brilliant women with someone who is equally fantastic and brilliant. Why do we always have to go and collect some sort of sad boy and be like, oh, I'll love you into being a person again? No.
Yeah.
Not to say that that's what this film was, but the female character had a lot of that energy, which immediately makes me just be like, I need to go for a walk.
Yeah, because you were just like, I need to leave. And that, to me, it was a bit cheesy, and also the main female character was a bit annoying at the beginning, I'll be honest. I had to warm to her. But I loved the way it was shot. I think I loved the cinematography more than I did the script. Ooh. But I love that it felt like it's love letters to South London. And as someone who's grown up in South East London, I just felt like it reflected a part of the world that I knew. Definitely not the love story part, but part of the world that I knew. But that being said, one big issue I had is that I couldn't see the couple. I couldn't see the chemistry between the couple.
Which is, rather you started out telling people to go see this, and you're like, basically, I don't buy the rom-com for the rom-com-ness of it. So I'm just saying, it's nice to see South London, which you can do with your own eyes if you want.
No, but
you don't need to go to cinema.
Not as nice as how they portrayed it. Not as nice as they portrayed it.
Wait till it's Bank Holiday Monday and it's sunny. Go to Peckham Rye, go to Brixton. You're going to be like, this place is the most beautiful place on the planet. Why is it not like this every day? And you'll go, oh yes, because it's London and the weather is garbage.
The UK the Sun is one of the nicest things.
It's a new city.
It's an absolute new city. That's why I like during the summer. I don't go on holiday loads. I mean, it's different this summer, but I don't go on holidays loads like in August because I love being in London when it's hot and summer, even in the UK. But it's very unpredictable. So who knows what summer we're gonna get?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's still definitely a good watch. Honestly, I do think so.
I think this is a really haphazard review. What would you give it out of 5?
Out of 5. 3. I'll give it 3 out of 5.
I'll give it a 2.
Why?
I didn't like it. I just said I didn't like it. If I'm being brutal, one, I think you should go and see it regardless because we need to support black talent. We need to support black films. If we make enough, for every film that we support, more get made. Eventually, the film that you want to see will be on screen. That's why I think it's important to go see these things. If I'm being brutally honest, it's not my kind of movie.
Yeah.
It was too joyful. I like love stories with some bleakness. I like love stories with deeply flawed characters. And I just also hate that, like, every line's a witty line. And you say something witty and I say something witty and everything's like witty. It's witty. It's not necessarily funny, but it's witty.
I'll be honest, we don't have real life conversations like that.
Nobody does. I actually find it really contrived and not entertaining when I see it on the film. And this is for like any film that's up like that. And there was I feel like a whole spate and genre. There's a whole genre of films like this. That this falls into that category of like witty line, witty dialogue, and then you get to the end, you're like, what did I actually learn about these characters? It's like it was buried somewhere in those witty lines, but because it's witty line, you don't actually. I personally find it hard to connect to characters that way. So it was just not great experience for me.
I'm sorry, I'm surprised because we've gone to the cinema before where I begged Marnie to pass to leave the cinema. It was for one of the worst films I personally have ever watched called The Dead Don't Die, starring Adam Driver. It was horrible and I begged Marnie to leave.
No, you're being exaggerated.
I'm not, I stood up and left.
Horrible.
It was terrible. It was bad. And then there's only one time we wanted to leave a theatre together, which I think we both agreed on because it was terrible. But then we stayed. We stayed till the end. And we regretted it.
I'm glad that I didn't walk out.
I'm glad you didn't too.
But low-key, I genuinely think my opinion did not change for staying in the film from that point where I knew I wanted to leave. So
I think the reason why you hate is one of the reasons why I did like it. Like, I loved the Black Joy. I loved how colourful and bright it was.
You would say that's what I hate Black Joy. I want to see Black Misery.
I mean, no, like, the whole idea, like, it was almost too happy.
Yeah, it was just too optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't, like, loads of conflict, but I think I just needed that. And we talk about this quite a lot when we talk about black shows and content, that I am tired of seeing stereotypes. I'll be honest, I'm sick of it. So, and I gravitate away from shows that feature the estates or there's crime or the gangs.
Stop maligning estates, bro. Lots of nice people grow up on estates.
I know, I was born on an estate too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's just like, when we talk about South London, and especially somewhere like Peckham, where it still features quite a lot of estates. We don't want to talk about it, but it does. I'm just saying there's sometimes this, people lean into the stereotypes when it comes to black content, and I was just glad and appreciated that it didn't.
Wow. On that note,
we apart from watching the film, we were just on TikTok and looking at some of the interesting TikTok that's happened over the past week, including this guy has been on TikTok for a while, but let's just say his name is Austin.
What do you mean? Let's just say, what is his name?
I'm gonna find it now.
You're just like, let's just say that we're gonna not say his full name. We're just gonna say what his name is.
His name is Austin Martin. Oh, you can't make that up. Austin Martin, Google, and you understand why we took 30 minutes watching his TikToks.
I just think, as someone commented, and I think they were completely accurate, they said, these are the best thirst traps I've ever seen. And it truly is. Because I watched the video maybe 2 or 3 times and I said, I'm confused.
Let's just say this guy has struggled to find a pair of trousers or pants that can fit his thick thighs.
Well, he doesn't say that. He says, I'm trying to find a pair of pants that fit my legs.
Fit my legs. And he maybe described himself as a bit thick.
Yeah.
And I would describe him as being, his body type being very nice.
You know, in My Humps, when I Am says, what are you going to do with all that junk inside your trunk? And then Maggie says, I'm going to get you drunk. And then she turns around and you're like, it's not a lot of junk. When this guy turns around, there is enough junk to get you drunk.
And not just get me drunk.
Enough drunk off this hump.
Get Marnie drunk as well. Get both of us drunk.
Anyone in the vicinity is going to be drunk off this junk.
So, that's what preoccupied us for a bit. And then we're also looking at other stories, but we can talk about that in pop culture news.
Yeah, let's get into it. Pop culture news.
Yeah.
Where to start?
Should we continue the Love is Blind train? Because we've been talking about that every single week for the past month. But not about series 4. We're going to go back in time to series 2 with Iyanna and Jarrette. I say his name wrong all the time. Is it Jarrette?
It's Jarrette.
Oh, okay. Who got married, and it was really beautiful ceremony. I remember that. But they announced their divorce before the airing of After the Altar, and recently.
I thought it was just after.
Yeah, so it was before because we had to wait.
No, After the Altar came out, and it was literally like 3 days later that they said we're getting a divorce.
And then the other couple as well
on the same day.
Nick and
yeah, which is why everyone was like, there must be contracts that means that they've got to stay together.
Yeah. So recently in the podcast, Iyanna was asked, "Is there anything you want to get off your chest?" Basically, and she said and admitted that Jarrette cheated allegedly, and that the person that he cheated with reached out to her on email and on DM to be woman to woman, or to help her out as a woman and tell her that about the cheating. Jarrette also responded in an interview accusing Iyanna of cheating beforehand. So there's a lot of he said, she said at the moment. Thoughts?
Yeah, I guess my main thought is like, I didn't see it for them to begin with. Like, I just got the impression that he didn't like her. He found her, like, he didn't like her enough. But I feel like during After the Altar was where it kind of sealed the deal in that, like, he's going to the club still like he's a single man, conducting himself like he's a single man, and she's at home waiting for him. That made me feel like something's really off. I don't know. Like, I was with her. Like, if I was married and my husband was staying out till 2, 3, 4 in the morning, because he works at a club, so that means he needs to stay out and party every night. That would be a problem. So
it was a problem even before they got married. She was noticing that
he's a lot more social than she is.
The lifestyles weren't matching. She's a bit of a homebody. He's a bit of a social butterfly. And let's get back to the foundations of the relationship.
Yeah.
Jarrette wanted to get with Mallory. Was that her name?
Yeah.
And Mallory said no. You know, she wanted to marry Sal, which she did. And Jarrette and his towel and his handkerchief, he sobbed and cried. I've never seen a man cry that hard. And then
Kwame.
Yeah, Kwame came 2 years later, or most recently in season 4. And then, over time, he didn't propose to Iyanna. But I don't think she did, and we definitely didn't shake off the idea that Iyanna was a second choice.
Yeah.
The same way that Chelsea is a second choice, and we're going to have to see how that one plays out.
Chelsea, I feel like, is handling it a lot better than Iyanna did. I feel like it plagued her a lot that she was the second choice. Yeah. Perhaps it's because, well, from what Chelsea said at the reunion, she always knew that he was talking to Micah, and it was always going to be up for discussion that Micah, eventually he would have to choose between the two of them, and according to Kwame, he had known he was going to break up with Micah. I don't buy that for a second, but please, let's just say...
Yeah, when you're there crying your eyes out.
You don't cry like that over something. I was coming to break up with you, you broke up with me.
Because for me personally, if he had responded the way he responded to the pod, which was very much HR, very.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you for your time. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you,
yeah, and then
thank you for the opportunity, Shoshanna.
Yeah, exactly. I walked out. I was
Karen.
like, well, it is what it is, but I know my heart is somewhere else. No one would say anything, but my guy was there crying.
He was sobbing. He was crying like something happened to a family member.
Yeah.
So I don't buy for a second that he was planning to go in there and end it with her.
No, absolutely not. Especially when, I'm sorry, Michael was leading him on and saying, you're the one, you're the chosen one. So...
Yeah. Anyway, coming back to Iyanna and Jarrette.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
No.
My feeling, actually, with this Iyanna and Jarrette stuff, because there's been I've been seeing a bit of stuff about Shane. I've been seeing stuff about Natalie. I've been seeing stuff about Deep Tea. And I just feel like Love Island.
Oh, God.
God. Love is Blind has entered, as I said in my review before, it's entered its villain era in that, like, its parody era, in that you can't go 2 seconds now on TikTok without seeing content from someone who was on the show. And I feel like all they've done is all people are doing now is using Love is Blind as a springboard to launch their own
podcast.
And
or
it is actually
content or channel or profile.
I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
I would love to not hear anything about anyone from Love is Blind until after the altar comes out or the next season. I'm tired, actually, of the drama. I just feel like even Iyanna coming out to say that Jarrette, like, you could have kept this guys between the two of you.
I 100%.
Why is this public knowledge? And then I started thinking about it and I was like, well, they dated publicly by going on the show, so we do have a vested interest. But it's like, yeah, but this is your real life partner. If you guys aren't together anymore, that's fine. But I just don't understand why it needs to be. And now this is a whole drum because Jarrette's going to come out and be like, my side of the story. I don't care.
You need, like, perfectly honest, if you want success in your real life relationships, you need to get off social media, especially after you've got married. And I know it's weird to say, one of my favourite reality couples who met and married on through reality TV, I always go back to The Bachelor and Bachelorette because that's a show that I really love. But it was Rachel Lindsay who was the first black bachelorette, and she picked this guy called Brian, who no one liked, and no one thought she was going to pick him because everyone preferred her second choice, who was a guy who was not really ready to commit. I can't remember what his name is now, but she ended up choosing Brian. They've been married for over 3 or 4 years now. They've been together for a lot longer, of course, since the show. And when they got married, and when they got engaged, and it was revealed on, afterwards, she said that what she ended up doing, and the two of them agreed, is to go back to their normal lives. She went back to being a lawyer. He went back to being a chiropractor. They left. I know the story because
I'm just laughing at the idea that he's a chiropractor.
I know, but you see that cake guy? His body is. His body's almost too much.
Okay, we're
not gonna objectify any man.
It's not there. Coming into, but it's not the bodies episode.
It's not the bodies. No, we're not doing that today. But they went back to their normal lives, their normal jobs, and for over a year, I think they had a couple of interviews here and there. They may show a few things on social media, but that was it. Very quiet. And they said, and I think she wrote a book, and she said that to this day, that's the one thing that helps sustain their marriage, because there is so much scrutiny online. There's so much discussion. There's so many people that have opinions, and especially with these Love is Blind contestants, and when they're going online and fueling the conversations, because ultimately they want the attention, you're not helping your relationship. Like, for me, I see Brett and Tiffany doing stuff, and I'm kind of hoping, like, just keep it quiet, keep it to yourself. Lauren and Cameron have been very lucky where they've done stuff, they've done a YouTube channel, but they're not posting frequently. You don't see them always together.
No, and they're not. Also, they're not in drama.
No, and that's the good
I feel like
thing.
people misinterpret like how to turn this show into big bucks by you need to be in drama. And honestly, it can really do dirty.
Yeah.
Like the way that the internet will turn on you one day, be your best friend on another. Like you can't live your life by it. Like I find it really interesting that like sort of consensus. It feels like the internet has decided that they hate Zanab and they love Cole.
Yeah.
But it hasn't turned into Cole being the most famous.
No.
And that's probably the smart thing, because you guys hated me.
Yeah.
And now you love me.
Yeah.
And you can hate me again.
Yeah.
I can't live my life by this.
live and die by public opinion. And like, honestly.
And I just think like the show is suffering for how online its contestants are. And why am I seeing Marshall's got a new girlfriend and do like, I don't care about any of it.
All that should be revealed after the altar. Because they're filming that at the moment, and that's what people are finding that and filming behind the scenes of after the altar and showing that.
Completely destroying the format. Like, it needs to stop.
And also, I'll be honest, like I don't like that the contestants are going on these other podcasts and other shows and revealing even more than they were doing on the reunion. Because people are going on Nick Viall's podcast and giving all the tea, whereas we had an hour and a half of whatever we had for the reunion. Yeah. And we barely touched the surface. Mm-mm. So, I don't know. I don't know what the future looks like, but yeah. I wish Iyanna and Jarrette the best. Iyanna, please move on. Like, please, because...
I'm telling you, I cannot wait. I just think... everybody needs to move on and everybody needs to find something else to do. I just don't think that like being famous for being on Love is Blind is the ticket.
No, I think Iyanna has such an important story, and I think she can she was on the show. She was definitely being an advocate for mental health, and I think she could use that as a platform if you want to and speak on that. Use what you've gained through Love is Blind in terms of notoriety, and then use that to build whatever profile you want to be on Love is Blind, like the things that you're passionate about. Going back to my favourite, Rachel Lindsay, now she is a TV person, not a TV personality, she's a TV correspondent for a celebrity news channel. Like, and that's got nothing to do with her role on The Bachelorette. Every now and again she'll be interviewing celebrities and be like, oh wait, I've seen you on The Bachelorette. And she'll be like, yeah, I was on that. Now, let me talk to you about your film. Let me talk to you about your show. And she's been able to leverage basically what she gained from being on that show to now having a completely separate career and doing the things that she's passionate about. So, I'll be honest, I wish everyone the best, but like, use this profile that you have now for good, not for gossip.
Yeah, they're too online now.
Too much.
I think they just need to hit reset and go back to like, you know, craving some sort of privacy in your life. We don't need to know all of your business. Yeah. We just don't.
No. Yeah. Talking of TikTok, there has been a lot of conversation around Sofia Richie and her wedding, which was the week before. And it looks beautiful. Looks absolutely beautiful. She married a billionaire. Or millionaire.
A Jewish billionaire.
Yeah. What was his name? Grant. Sorry, I should have done my research on this.
You should have.
She married Elliot Grange, who is like a music producer, from like an independent music producer. And there's a lot of conversation around this because many people have known Sofia Richie being a personality who was very much associated with the Kardashians world. She dated Scott Disick for some time. She was, you know, there with Courtney and Scott and his 4 kids type of thing. She was very young at that time. I think she was 19 when she started dating him. And then she had a bit of a reset in terms of her image and her brand, dressing more modestly, makeup being a bit more like pulled back, a bit more stripped back. And then she met her boyfriend, then became her fiance Elliot, and now they've recently got married. The wedding was covered by Vogue. It was beautiful, as I mentioned before. And there's been a lot of conversation about the whole idea of going back to this like soft life, soft beauty, stripping back, being more modest, and that means you'll bag a millionaire, billionaire, which is such a different message. I think there's also the whole thing about how you dress and how you present yourself will change people's perception of you, which again I think is another big conversation. And I think that there is some truth to that. The way people see you on the outside sometimes is even more important than what you even say, which is horrible, but it means that yes, when you leave your house, brush your hair. But I don't know. There's a message to it. But also in terms of the wedding party and the wedding guests, there was no Kardashians invited. So people were just saying like, she's changed her life, and there's been so much praise and adoration around Sofia Richie. And for me, I couldn't care less, but I think it was a great wedding. But I was just so surprised by how much attention it built around this wedding and how, you know, how classy it was, but also how people are saying this transformation means that you can change from being a Kardashian or Kardashian to being married to a multi-millionaire billionaire.
I feel like people aren't acknowledging the fact that she was maybe 21 when she was dating Scott Disick, and maybe when you're 21 you want to be one person. She was younger than that, yeah. Yeah, maybe you're even 19 and you want to be one thing, and then maybe by the time you're 24 you don't want to do that thing anymore. And maybe by the time she's 30 she won't want to do this, who knows. But like, I think the theorising like, now she's demure and that's why she can marry a billionaire and only demure. I think what you're not acknowledging is her currency as a young woman anyway. Yeah. Like, I'm sure the guy she's married is not 24.
No, I think he's like 30.
So her currency as a 24-year-old marrying a 30-year-old, which, okay.
He's 29.
Again, what on earth is he talking to this child about? Like, what are you talking to her about? Be for real. But anyway, you're 29, married this 24-year-old, brilliant, fantastic, hot, sexy, wow. Whatever it is, like, whatever she felt like maybe she had to be when she was 19, she's maybe decided she doesn't anymore. And maybe that's all it is. Maybe it's not like she went away and was scheming and was like, I want to marry a billionaire, so I need to like... Or, you know, even the Kardashians are being less Kardashian recently. Yeah.
I saw the trailer for the Kardashian Series 3, I think, and it's very much pulled back. Like, they're acknowledging that they have changed and transformed themselves, and, you know, they have set a certain style of beauty and standard of beauty, and they're acknowledging that. So it's very stripped back in terms of their image as well.
I think the thing that... The only discourse I saw that came across my feed, I don't know if it's because I'm just not really up to date with the Kardashians to be up to date with the hangers on. No offense, Sofia Richie. But so obviously Nicole Richie is married to Benji Madden. Yeah, Benji Madden from
Good Charlotte.
Yeah, and they performed at the wedding. Yeah. And they performed specifically the song Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous, which is supposed to be making fun of rich famous people.
After all dancing to
a room full of rich famous people. Yeah. Which felt quite ironic. And also to me goes back to that thing of like performative punk mentality again. When I'm 19, 24, maybe I want to make songs about fuck the patriarchy, and then I turn 30 and guess what, I marry a lord. Yeah. Because the real world is not the same as the one that you wish it is in your head. No. He's married to when they were dating, I was like, what on earth do these two people talk about? Yeah. But I feel like he did a good job. I felt weirdly in that duo, I was like, I feel like I know more about Nicole Richie than I do about him. Like, basically, you can't judge a musician on their music because it's a performance. Yeah. Yeah. So I might be like, oh, I personally am a Tory, but I know the music that sells for me is hood rap music. Yeah. So I get up there, I do my little hood rap songs, make my money, and then I vote for
the Conservatives.
I vote for David Cameron to come back and be Prime Minister again. Oh, I'm begging Boris Johnson. Like, you don't know. Like, I feel like people are tricked, and it's not their fault, because that's the point. This thing has been crafted to trick you into thinking, oh, we're just like you, and we're making music for people just like you. And they're not like you.
No, when they
Half
started,
of the people that you listen to are very well off.
Oh yeah.
You have to be in this industry.
When they started, they were like probably down in the dirt. Like, I'm striving and working.
I bet they weren't ever down in the dirt.
Some of them were.
I don't think. I mean specifically Good Charlotte. I don't think they were ever down in the dirt.
Not. But it's like now, they don't have to worry, because they are living the lifestyle of the rich and the famous.
Yeah. So that was the only discourse I saw, and I thought, oh yeah, this is my, I guess, 10 yearly reminder that Nicole Richie and Benji Madden are married.
And but also Cameron Diaz married
their brother.
Yeah, that one was like, whoa.
That's what I'm telling you. Those two boys weren't down in the dirt.
No.
Nah, because you're not banging these girlies being like, we're just dirt boys.
They must have.
We're just two dirt boys. Please. Someone needs to do a documentary on Good Charlotte so we can find the truth. What is going on with those Madden brothers?
They're really just good boys. Really good boys. Honestly. Or good men, sorry.
They're good Charlottes.
They are good Charlottes. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting discourse that I didn't expect to really kind of snowball into so much commentary about someone's wedding.
Yeah, and I saw like a little summary video.
Yeah.
And when Lionel Richie was walking her down the aisle, I was like, oh, Lionel Richie's here.
Like, I'm sorry.
I know that's their dad, but whenever I actually see him with them, I'm like,
huh?
Oh, for real?
Yeah, that's the children. I mean, because you know that
they're adopted.
Yeah.
But I mean, but like even that he was ever like, do your homework. Yeah, it was crazy. Like, I don't want you to tell you to do your homework. It was crazy.
They're like, oh, I'm out all night long. All night.
He's like, hello?
Is it me you're looking for?
God, that was. I'm sure they get that.
I did not. I'm sure he does. All the time.
I bet they get that a lot.
I feel like Adele probably gets that a lot when it's like, hello. She's like, hello.
That's so funny because my first thought is never mind. When you say Adele, as the first one that comes, I don't think hello, it's me at all.
Oh, I think hello is me. I'm like, she'll be like, hello, it's me.
Or, as I said before, turning tables.
Turning tables. She was like you, man.
No, that's chasing pavement.
Oh, she's like you.
Back then, every song was a verb and turning tables, chasing pavements.
I did like chasing pavements. Yeah. The newer stuff, not so much, but there's some more classics.
I was talking to someone recently about about the art of making music, and I said that like Adele's past few albums have been very much breakup albums, and they've come out at times where I have not been experiencing breakups, so it didn't hit for me. But I'm sure at some point, because she makes timeless music, I'm sure at some point I'll be in a breakup and be like, let me play this album. And be like,
but I also like
Adele.
If I'm in a period where I'm feeling a bit low, that is not what I want to be putting on. I just want to be like, let me put something that's gonna be happy. Let me put on some S Club 7 and be dancing like, don't stop.
Don't lie to yourself. You're not like crying in your house. You're like, let me just quickly. Hey Siri.
I should be perfectly honest, that's why I just don't play music. And then I love music. And so if I'm feeling low and music is out of my ears, then I feel like, oh wow.
If I'm feeling low, I'd probably play classical music.
That's interesting.
I feel like music with words would be like just be overwhelming. Whereas if just feelings and sounds like get me back to like neutral, so I can be like, right, play the hits.
When I was studying, do my masters, I listened to a lot of jazz. Like slow jazz music, because because it was nice when I was studying to like I'm not listening to anything with words, because words may influence how I'm feeling, but
distract you.
Yeah, whereas when they just have like something that's like it's just like
Ryan Gosling music from La La Land.
No, not like that. No, it's even slower. It's like really like slow. I did like I think it was like whatever year of that raps on Spotify. It was a lot of slow jazz that kind of bubbled up. Yeah.
That's good. I Googled someone whose music I like recently, and they said Cobra makes gay workout music, and I was like, I'm gonna start a whole playlist on my phone and just call it gay workout music and just put all the music that sounds exactly like that. It's like clearly there is a part of my brain that's really activated by the idea of gay workout music.
I didn't know that there was.
I didn't know there was either.
So interesting.
I was like, not this being the first article that comes up when I Google it. I was like, who is this person? They went, she's Swedish and she makes gay workout music.
I didn't. You know why? It's because she's been making music for a long time, and everyone's like, we're trying to put you in the box. We're trying to put you in the box. Like, what is your music about? And she's like, gay workout music.
Which reminds me of my favourite clip of Azealia Banks, which is, she's on The Breakfast Club, and Charlamagne is like, apparently you make music for gay people. And she says, I do. Now what?
We talked about this.
What now?
Linked it out to one of our previous episodes. Definitely take a watch or listen.
It's iconic. They really thought they were like doing some gotcha journalism, and she was like, no, I got you. Because I feel like you're trying to say something's wrong. What's wrong with that? And now everyone's stuttering in the room.
Yeah.
She blamed you.
Yeah.
She had glasses on and a little bob. And I said, she came here to school the kids.
She really did.
She was dressed like a teacher saying, excuse me.
Really
I know exactly what music I make.
Yeah.
So you're not about to come in here and be like, well, you make... no, you're homophobic.
Yeah.
She's my queen. And she probably started the gay workout music trend.
Yeah, she didn't realise.
She started it.
Yeah. The last thing that has come up over the last week is just the rise of AI in popular culture. Now, AI has been popular for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And it's been a part of the discourse for a very long time in terms of like things like chat GPT. I think I can say the acronyms wrong, but you know what I'm saying.
No, it is.
Other types of AI companies that can now like create images based on prompts, create like chat GPT. You can write essays, you can write interview questions, interview answers.
You can.
You're gonna do a whole dissertation on it.
Someone in the office was like, a friend of mine uses chat GPT to put together a casting list.
That is so
She typed in something like, I'm looking for a Jennifer Coolidge type.
Oh,
and it gives you like a list, 10 people that fit. And then you can just keep tweaking their description to make it more specific.
I was in a meeting and we were talking about a title for a show. And one of the execs next to me was using ChatGPT to kind of like start the brainstorm.
Oh, I hadn't thought to do that. That's a really good idea. Maybe we should try that. And then we use a captioning software called Otter AI. Because I'm in a writer's room at the moment and one of the writers is deaf, and so
that's amazing.
We use this captioning thing, but I didn't realise that the captioning thing also records you.
Oh.
So when you go back, sometimes the captioning mishears you.
Yeah. Sometimes
it will change the captions
based
on what your next sentences are, like understanding like, oh, the context has changed. I went back because I was like, oh, at some point we talked about this, and I saw like a play button. Get to play, and it was just playing me the audio of the room, which is brilliant. But also, like, we chat a lot of shit in that room. And the idea that, like, this computer just has stored. And the other thing is, if you go back and read the notes, because it's like a live captioning thing, but it stores everything that it captions, it starts to distinguish between voices.
That's really scary.
So it's like speaker 1, speaker 4, speaker 1, speaker 5, speaker 1. Like, it's like that. I was like, oh, that's so weird. And that day, I think there's usually 7 or 8 of us, and we had 2 people visit, and there were 10 speakers.
That's crazy. Like, I was listening to the Receipts podcast, which I love, and they were talking about AI as well, and how there's been a lot of, I'm going to say the word pranks, but also scams, where people are using your voice to get you to, quote unquote, get you to kind of get money from people. So they may phone like a grandma or like grandparent, that's the example they use, and the AI voice to say, oh, give me money because we've kidnapped your child or kidnapped your grandchild. And it's all based on how much information and voice and knowledge they know about you on the internet, which is so interesting because we are also doing a pod and we've had 30 plus episodes already live. But it's crazy how far technology has developed, especially over the last couple of years. And like on TikTok, there was this question. This guy keeps on interviewing people randomly on the street and says, do you think your jobs can be replaced by AI? And the one I saw yesterday and I shared with my brother was about this girl she was in PR, and she was like, of course my job can't be replaced. I do loads of writing for a really niche industry. I have to do like face-to-face communication and get to know them and build my relationships. And the guy was like, yeah, you know, there was this AI technology that can do the exact same thing of writing for a very niche industry. Can do a lot of the building of the communication through technology. So are you sure that your job can't be replaced by AI? And she was like adamant that her job cannot be replaced. Of course, I do not think we're going to be in what's that film with Will Smith?
iRobot.
I don't think we're going to be in iRobot.
Yeah, but iRobot, I thought iRobot was not, I can't remember what was the deal.
Well, let's just say that technology was taking over and became evil.
I feel like the version of this future, this dystopian future, is just like 1984, where like, you know, most jobs are null and void unless you work for the government.
Yeah.
And, you know, Big Brother tells you what to think and do because you have no access to the outside world anymore because you don't work because AI does everything for you. Anyway, enough about spooky ooky.
Because
AI a fun version of AI.
Yes,
but
please.
actually I think it's still spooky ooky. Is that people are generating songs by artists in their voices. Drake has been catching a lot of strays this week.
So many.
I've seen Drake covers of any genre of song. But the things that have been really tickling me are lovely, praise and worship songs. Pentecostal praise and worship songs.
African Pentecostal praise and worship.
That lovely Drake, well, AI Drake, is on. I feel like the AI voice thing is not all the way there yet.
No. It's like, because some
you
of
can
them,
hear sometimes where it's off. I heard one, I'll play it to you after the pod, where it's Drake singing a cover of a Afrobeat song. It's Drake doing an Afrobeat song, but obviously the language of the song is Chi, and hearing Drake's voice singing Chi is so bizarre. And also it's like, I do feel like if he did, this is what it would sound like. But that's terrifying.
That is terrifying. The one that we just played just before the pod was a duet of Everything Must Double with Rihanna and Drake. And I'm telling you, it sounded good. Crazy, but good.
Yeah. Who knew that Drake had this whole other life where he could have been a Baptist preacher in Ghana?
If I was him, I would start.
So much money.
I would lean into it and be like, sue, because I want my money.
Who is he suing? A person who doesn't have money.
Yeah,
that's the thing. If it was a corporation, yeah, you're suing a 15-year-old in their room.
Yeah.
Good luck. But yeah, I've been tickled and also terrified.
Yeah, it is quite scary to think about. I mean, the race swap one, I think is scary but genius. There was a TikTok with what celebrities would look like if they swapped races, and it's very generic to say the white celebrities would be changed to black celebrities or black looking celebrities, and then black celebrities vice versa to white celebrities. But I'm telling you, some of them were crazy. Have a look at what Kanye looks like as a white AI.
I don't like it.
I think it was spot on. Will Smith?
I still like it. I'm not saying it wasn't spot on. I'm just saying I didn't like looking at it. It made me feel a bit ill.
It was weird to think, but also some of them were hilarious. Yeah.
So check that out too.
Definitely.
God.
I know. Well, speaking of celebrities, should we move on to a very celebrity focus?
Oh. I don't know how I feel about this segue. What
was I going to do? Okay,
who are the several celebrities?
Harrison Ford.
That's one.
Jason Segel.
Really a celeb.
He is.
He's an actor. I wouldn't call him a celeb. He's not out on the he's not in the Met Gala.
You don't. Well, yeah. Actually.
Should we actually? Maybe celebrity is the wrong word. Stars. Speaking of
talented stars, we're gonna move on to our review of the week.
Shrinking. So our review of the week this week, as we said just now, is Shrinking on Apple TV
Plus.
Was it? No, I think it's Apple.
It's just Apple TV.
Apple Plus.
Apple
TV Plus.
It's an Apple.
Apple TV. Why would it be called Apple TV Plus? There was never an Apple TV to begin with.
It is actually Apple TV Plus, but I think
why do people put Plus in it? It's like Disney Plus. Why is it Plus? It's the exact same thing.
I think it's because maybe the differentiation between the linear channel.
Linear Apple TV?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
maybe is it to differentiate between Apple TVs?
I think it may be that. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hoping so because there are actual Apple TVs.
And I wish some of them would change it up, like Plus, boring. Plus?
That Canal Plus, that's in France.
Yeah, I feel like some of you guys need to switch it up.
Paramount Plus?
More like Paramount Plus.
Yeah, Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus.
ITVX.
More like ITV. I don't know what the French... Oh, the French...
BBC iPlayer. That's the only
more
one.
More like Plus.
Yeah.
BBC Plus.
I got an email from All 4 saying that All 4 is now
Channel 4. And I was like, okay, who fucking cares?
That's the thing. I was like,
I never called it All 4 to begin with.
I called it All 4 because I
always called it Channel 4.
But even always.
Oh, 4OD, which was before.
Yeah, 4OD.
Then they changed it to Apple Plus, and I was like, I don't know.
I mean, you changed it to Apple Plus.
I'm lost. I'm in the weeds.
All the pluses.
They changed it to All 4, and I was like, I hate this.
Yeah.
It's either 4OD or it's Channel 4. It's not All 4. And now it's like don't worry, guys. Why did you email me about this?
Yeah,
I don't care.
when I got the email, I was like, cool.
Whose day was ruined by that?
No.
They're like, oh, no!
No, because they're going to rebrand everything to be like Channel 4. But
We'll do that. I don't care.
But also, most summer, I'm watching stuff that would have been in E4 and or 4 anyway.
Just grow up.
I know.
It's 4OD. I miss FOD. Bring back FOD.
What was that show that T4? T4 was great.
Wow. We can't have that anymore. SMTV.
SMTV Live.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
Saturday morning.
Yeah. Not anymore.
Not
but
anymore.
yeah.
What was the BBC equivalent? It was called like Saturday. Zoe Ball hosted it, I feel like, or something. Anyway, I didn't watch that.
I can't remember. Yeah. Someone will tell us, please.
I watched SMTV Live, and then I thought it was really cool. When I got older and cool, I would watch T4.
On the beach. No, T4 was... You watched T4.
T4.
And then...
Back when Jamila Jamil was a host.
Yeah.
Presenter.
Yeah.
How times have changed.
Times have changed.
How times have changed.
But
and I always thought she was hot then, and she still is. So that's not changed.
Yeah. Who was the other like main guy? I think there's another main
Vernon.
guy. Yeah, Vernon
He's
Kay. Vernon Kay.
And Simon Amstel.
Oh my gosh!
Yep.
Wow. Someone who's doing casting at T4 is could see talent.
Yeah, they were like edgy whites. And Jamil. Oh, Alexa Chung.
Alexa Chung, yes. Who was the other?
They said Asian girlies and the white boys.
Was June Starfelt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
June and Vernon.
Yes.
And I was like, I wonder if they'll get married.
As
a kid, I was like, if you sit next to someone, you have to marry them.
Yeah. You
have to.
Yeah.
Not one marriage.
Not one.
I like Tess though.
But everyone seems to be doing well. Yeah, you kept on cheating on her.
Who?
Allegedly.
Imagine being Tess Daly and getting cheated on.
That's what they said about Beyonce.
That's true.
But I think that's even more embarrassing.
Ooh.
Allegedly.
I think both of them are embarrassing because both of those men are twos in comparison to their wives.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
But, she was a model.
Yeah, but I'm so... that's okay. You know what? Again, we're not objectifying men on this episode.
No, we're not. We're here to talk about shrinking.
Yeah, talk about shrinking. Okay. It's created by... I'm going to just flag because I needed to check this. It was created by Bill Lawrence and also Jason Segel and Brett Goldstein. But one thing about Bill
Brett Goldstein is from Ted Lasso.
Oh, is it? And Bill Lawrence is from one of my favourite shows growing up, Scrubs. And you know I knew... No, don't do that face. I love Scrubs.
No one can see the face, but it's a really positive face.
Yeah, but one of the reasons that I had to go back and check was because the woman who plays Liz, Krista Miller, was also in Scrubs, and that's her husband. That's Bill Lawrence's husband.
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense.
And she was heavily in Scrubs.
Because she looked really familiar to me, and I was like, where have I seen this woman before?
So, but yeah. Who else is the synopsis?
I'll do it. Shrinking is about a man called Jim, whose wife has recently passed away, and he is not coping. He has a teenage daughter who he's all but checked out in terms of parenting, called Alice, and he works as a therapist, and he sort of just lets each day pass him by. And at the top of the series, he sort of cracks because he's hungover and feeling sorry for himself in one of his sessions, and tells one of his patients, what they should do. Which, if you've listened to previous episodes of this show, Shoshanna and I have spoken about couples therapy and therapy in general, thinking about imprisoned, for example. And your therapist isn't supposed to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
They're just there for you to help you figure out what you need to do. So him taking this really direct approach is unconventional.
But it's not allowed. It's just...
No, you're actually not supposed to do that.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
You're not supposed to do that. Because then you're like bordering into life coaching. This is a space for me to unpack the way I'm feeling and the things I need to do about that. So you could be like, oh, perhaps if X is making you anxious, you could try going a week without it and see if you feel better. But what you can't do is tell me to leave my husband. right? If I'm telling you I'm anxious, you can't go, listen, you've been coming to this session for 3 years now. It's him. He's the problem. Get rid of him. That was an overstepping of the boundary, shall we say. Yeah. He tells the patient to do that. She does leave her husband. And he feels so invigorated by seeing, like, a cause and effect. Yeah. That he starts doing that for all his patients.
And I'm going to take some more immersive a therapeutic approach, i.e. like taking his patients out so that they can face some of their fears in real life.
Yes, so one of the patients in particular that he meddles with is a young black man who is 22. I don't know when this is supposed to have happened, but he is in the army. He's now no longer in the army. He's a vet. And he clearly has some sort of PTSD, and has been getting into bar fights. So Jim suggests that he basically join an MMA boxing ring. Yeah. I don't know, like community club. And he goes to this thing and gets the shit beat out of him. But it has made him not want to go to bars and start fights anymore. So this obviously can't go all plain sailing. And eventually he ends up fighting a man who tries to fight Jim. He gets kicked out of his parents' house and has to move in with Jim. So the consequences for Jim's actions are sort of, by episode 2 you see like meddling with your patients. Even by the end of episode 1 I feel like you see meddling with your patients' lives is not going to be plain sailing. No. He is the ensemble, shall we say, is rounded out by his 2 colleagues. One is Jessica Williams, whose character is
called Gabby.
Who is a therapist at the same clinic as him. She was best friends with his wife. So they're connected in a personal way as well as a work way.
And they get connected even more later on in the series.
And then another
Dr. Paul,
who is played by Harrison Ford, who is Jim's sort of mentor, who is also sort of supporting his daughter. I wouldn't quite call it therapy because they don't meet in the clinic and it's not, official in any capacity, but he's supporting her through her grief and her relationship with her dad. And it plays this sort of mentor figure who tells Jim very early on, I don't think you should be meddling in your patients' lives, by the way. Yeah. And it causes friction between them. So that's kind of the work ensemble. And then at home, he has a neighbour who has been helping pick up the slack with his daughter, who he sort of butts heads with in a like, this is my kid, I know what to do. Yeah. And then the neighbour, whose name is Liz is, an empty nester who can't help but butt into things. Yeah. And that's sort of, and she's married and her husband's very sweet, but kind of a bumbling idiot. And then he has a best friend played by Michael Urie.
Oh yes, from Ugly Betty.
Who I feel like is really underutilized in the series. Yeah. Like he's so brilliant in Ugly Betty, and he sort of plays like the perky gay best friend in this, which I thought.
But I forgot when he was on screen. I was like, oh, he's in the show, kind of thing.
Yeah, because he's not. Yeah. He's not utilized, and I get it in the sense that I feel like he's underutilized in that. How do I explain this? He feels like a tertiary character. Yeah. In a show that I don't think really needs a tertiary character.
No, I mean, at one point I kept on thinking, there's so many characters. Which is weird for me to say, but I was like, there's so many people on this screen. And they don't all feel connected, but they're trying to really connect them.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters, and I feel like because what they do quite well, which I will give them props for, is there are many layers to those characters. It's not just like, your bog standard comedy where it's just like, I'm the dumb best friend and I'm the sexy neighbour or whatever. Yeah. There is more to them than whatever you see on the surface. But that is what makes it feel so cluttered, because you're like, she's just changed from, like, Gabby and Liz start off as enemies, then Gabby and Liz become best friends.
And then, like, Liz is like supporting Gabby during her divorce. Gabby's divorce. And then you learn a bit more about that. And then Gabby sleeps with Jim and they start becoming like bodies, but
Gabby
it's complicated because Gabby used to be the wife's best friend.
Gabby and Liz and the soldier go to Gabby's ex-husband's exhibition. You know, it's like, it feels like they went, oh, we haven't done anything with this character, so why don't we send him on this trip as well? Because what was happening was, and I'm just going to get to this first because this was my main issue. The soldier, what is his name? Sean is this adorable, damaged young black man. He's 22. Jim's daughter is 17. Her name is Alice. Yeah. She is also young and damaged. But really early on, everybody seems to be implying that something untoward will happen between Alice and Sean. And it kept on making me really uncomfortable because I was like, as the only black man on this show, and as a person who has not shown any interest in this person other than being friendly with them, why is everyone jumping to, they're going to have sex, something sexual is going to happen here? And I was really uncomfortable, to be honest, with the way that story was playing out. I appreciate that in the end it ended up being that, like, it's Alice who has a crush on him, which is perfectly fine. Yeah. It is fine for her to have a crush on him. But the way that it was first being pitched on, well, the way that the adults were discussing it was very much making it seem like Sean is a predator. And of course Sean is going to hook up with her if she hooks up with him. What is he going to do? He's 22, she's 17. This is perfectly fine. It's like, no, it's weird. Yes, yeah. It's actually very weird. And I think it's weird that that's the first place that you guys' brains went to, because that's not the first place that my brain went to.
No.
What I was thinking is like, Sean's going to live in the guest house, he's going to get into a fight, he's going to smash it up or something. That's where my mind was. I wasn't like, oh, Sean's going to sleep with his daughter and that's going to complicate things. Yeah. But it went on for such a long time. Like, by episode 2, people are talking about, well, you know, Alice is a young woman in a house with a man. Like, I think you should be careful. What? Yeah. It's not, and then, like, it's episode 7 where she tries to kiss him. So that's a really long time of people speculating that he's either going to try it on with this child or the child's going to try it on with him. Yeah. And I just didn't like that. I still like it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're coming off the back of Unprisoned, where I'm a little bit fed up of how they portray black characters. Like, even when Gabby talks about, like, I'm a black girl doing this. Yeah. Like, I'm a black girl doing that. And I'm like, yes, you are a black woman. And
we don't talk like that.
Yeah, and yes, I mean, the only point, I know there was a point where she mentioned about, like, you know, black therapists and how...
Yeah.
Like, it's that was really good point. Her to do this, because there isn't a lot of representation in the therapy world for black or people of colour. Yeah, it was a great point. But every single episode, it was giving me like who is writing this show, and then we go back to who the creators are. None of them are black.
But we don't know who's in the room.
Yeah, we don't know who's in the room. We know that the main creators, the ones that are billed and credited, they're not black. They're not women. And it feels like they're writing for them. Now, again, in the writer's room, there most likely will be people of colour. Well, you know, we're hoping. But for me, I was getting a bit fed up of it. And it was making me feel, as I was watching this show, and then going back off on Prison, and just most recent sitcoms, am I getting, and this is a personal question to myself, that I was reflecting on, am I getting tired of US comedies and the US
fixation with Ryan?
Yeah, because don't get me wrong, I grew up watching a lot of sitcoms. I loved Friends, I loved Scrubs, I love How I Met Your Mother. Like, you name it, I most likely have watched it and loved it and enjoyed it. And yes, over the last 10 to 15 years, comedy has changed. We don't have the laughing track. Like, the laughing track doesn't exist. A lot of these comedies are comedy dramas because, I'll be honest, I think it's because it's quite hard. Comedy is hard to crack. And also, we as consumers and people that watch content, we need multiple layers, and you just can't get it enough with just a bit of ha-ha and having it just being a pure comedy. That's why most are comedy dramas or dramedies or whatever you want to call it. So, as I was watching, I was just feeling, am I getting a bit fed up with the fact that race is always used in this way, and it feels so tired. And that's how I kind of felt about this show. I felt like we'll go into ratings, we'll go into reviews, but I just felt that this show was tired. And like Rye Lane, like we talked about earlier today, it was really well reviewed, really great, like, critical acclaim, and it's coming back for series 2.
Yes.
That's all great. But have we not seen this before? Have we not seen even how they portray, like, Harrison Ford being the old guy and old people having sex, like, and is that the gag? Is that what you find funny? To me, I don't know.
I like this more than Unprisoned, if I'm going to be honest. I think there was slightly more to this. I think I find I feel like we've reached peak saturation actually culturally with our fascination with therapy. But what I liked what they did with this, which is imagine a therapist who use their power for good, sort of thing, which is, and then also that person in and of themselves is fucked up. So how good is that good? Yeah. They think they're doing a good thing, but it's because they feel so powerless in their own lives that they're trying to get you to take the reins on yours. And I was like, that is interesting. I think the whole, I feel like the thing that felt a bit tied, there were thematically the way they dealt with some things was definitely tied, like the whole grief thing. Like I think you could probably write boundless articles, shows, films, songs, whatever about grief, because it's it can be so varied in your experiences. But I think the thing that I found a bit weird was that you never quite know what happened to his wife. When you meet him, he's like doing cocaine and like throwing parties with like young women. So I thought he'd been divorced. My first thought wasn't, because I was like, I didn't know that was a response while your daughter's in the house. Yeah. Feels really weird. I mean, I understand that the neighbour looking after actually, I didn't have the question about why the neighbour was looking after the child, and no one else in the family was looking after the child. There's like no family whatsoever as well, which I'm sure that happens to some people, but that kind of, I don't know. I don't want to be... I'm trying to figure out a way to say this. It doesn't sound like a dick thing to say, but as a person who had a parent pass away as a teenager, I think she played her grief in this really basic, stroppy kind of way. Yeah. Everything's about me. My mum's passed away. I actually thought what was genuinely interesting about their dynamic is the idea of one parent passing away, another one being alive, but just completely checking out. I'm like, I've never really seen this before, which is like, you're here and we're in the house together, but you have given up on parenting or doing anything. Like, I need you more than ever, and you aren't here. That is interesting. I don't think they ever got to really unpack that stuff. It kind of felt like they were like, hey man, your dad's having a hard time too, so, give him a break. Yeah. Which tracked, because she was being so annoying. Yeah. In the way that she was, like, even that scene where she's bought him dinner and then he's got his, like, sports clothes on because he's going to go and play tennis. And he says, did you buy us dinner? Because I'll stay. She's like, no, I didn't. It's for me and my friend. And then afterwards, talking to Harrison Ford being like, it's, like, so annoying. Like, why didn't he sit and stay for dinner? It's like, you literally told him to go away. Oh, yeah. Like, this is so basic.
Yeah, I think that, to me, I was trying to understand the dynamic between the two of them, because I was, again, maybe there's some backstory that needed to be filled out, or they wanted the audience to guess themselves, but like, I wasn't sure if he had given her to the neighbour to look after while he was spiraling, or it just ended up happening that way, and maybe she felt abandoned by him. But that wasn't tapped into a lot, and there wasn't loads of conversation apart from like, yes, this has been an incredibly tough, traumatic experience for the two of them. And they've both had to face this separately and not be able to do this together. And only through the memories of the mum have they been able to have more communication. And that's where the relationship has started to build. It's not perfect, but it's starting to build. And I think that at the end, them dancing together, there was something really soft and light and really caring about that moment. Yeah, I don't know what they want us to take out of it. Apart from like, this is a big story. This is actually the hook that holds everyone in that world together. Because to me, going back to Michael Urie part, like, I didn't understand what his link was. I didn't understand what his link was to Harrison Ford, if I'm being perfectly honest. I know that he's supposed to be like a legal lawyer.
Yeah, no, that felt like a neat way to bring him into the story. Yeah. Really, I don't think like in real life. What's the likelihood that my best friend is also my colleague's lawyer?
Yeah,
maybe that is true because if I know them and you say to me, "I need a lawyer," I'm gonna be like, "Oh yeah, you should have my best friend, sure, whatever." But because we don't meet them as mates, we meet them where he's like, "Oh, I don't want to."
We've been distant.
Yeah, you're like, well, what's the nature of it? Kind of feels like conveniently this person's just sort of, "Hello, I'm here," in scenes where you're like, "Oh, why are you here?
Yeah,
aren't you Jim's friend?" It's like, yeah, but I'm also this guy's lawyer, and I'm also best friends with Gabby as well.
Yeah,
and I know Liz a bit.
It's the world. Like, the world was incestuous. I'll be honest. So like this together, which is not a bad thing.
I think what this was missing, right? Because it had flashbacks in certain places. I was like, well, I don't know if we need this flashback.
Yeah.
It needed us to see what life was like, say, for them as a group of friends.
Yeah,
before.
I agree.
So that we could see, like, oh, it's a group of friends who have been fractured by this, like, trauma coming back together again.
Yeah.
Because it just felt like they had formed a group post her dying. But Gia, the wife, I think her name's Gia. Why do I think her name's Gia? Is that her name?
The wife. No, it's Tia. Yeah.
Tia was best friends with Gabby.
Yeah.
But it feels like Jim and Gabby were not really friends.
No, so when they started
sleeping together... But they work together.
Yeah, but when they started sleeping together, I was so thrown off. I was like... And also, I again, not buying the chemistry at all, but I was like, how? If this is your best friend, let us be for real. This is your best friend. Why are you sleeping with your husband?
Sorry, that part wasn't what threw me off. I think the chemistry thing, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But, like, the idea of two people being, like, seeking, like, I can imagine them seeking comfort in each other.
Okay, there's that.
They don't play it as that, though. They play it as, like, you're safe, dick.
Yeah.
We both know we're not going to catch feelings, so why don't we have sex with each other? Even though, like, this is catastrophic for what we've built. If our group of friends or your daughter find out what we're doing, we'll lose everything that we've built up over the show. Yeah. Weirdly, people find out and they're like, oh, which is not I think the way I would, honestly, if I was Liz and Gabby said, I've been fucking Jim, I'd be like, stop that.
Yeah.
Stop that.
See, I really wish Chia came as a ghost to tell her, my friend, let him go.
To be honest, if I'm dead, I don't care about this. If I'm being completely 100% real, I got bigger problems. I'm dead.
Yeah,
I'm not fussed about who's having sex with my husband.
Also it's like,
what's going on?
But there's been stories where, like, okay, the woman or the wife, if she's dying, she tells the husband, you know, I give you my blessing to move on. But
of course I give you. You can't. What? You're not going to be a widow for the rest of your life.
No, but please don't sleep with my friends.
But listen, I love you and I love you, and I'm dead. If I was alive, yeah, it'll be a problem because I have to see it every day. I'm not seeing nothing. I'm dead. I'm dead. I don't like the idea of that. Yeah, this dead person has a hold on us. The person is dead.
Yeah,
they ain't come back.
You know what? It's just, I think for me personally, because I didn't see much of the build up of, like,
no, there was no chemistry.
There was no chemistry. There was nothing. That's why I'm like, be for real. And then I add the extra layer, the complexity of, like, this is your best friend's widow you're messing with. I
also don't know the relationship between the two of you was before this even.
No.
Like, throughout the series.
I
got the impression that they were kind of each other's, like, an annoying sidekick.
Yeah. Like,
not someone that you're like, let me get in those pants, girl. What?
And, like, Jason Segel's a nice guy, but I just don't see the two of them.
I want to say, I don't know who Jessica Williams has annoyed in the industry, but they keep matching her up with people that you're like, apart from Love Life, where she's with what's his name? He's got 3 names. William Harper. William Harper Jackson, I think his name is.
I'm checking now.
William Harper Jackson. That's my final answer. Looking it in.
His name is William Jackson Harper.
That's wrong way round. It should be Harper Jackson. Yeah. Jackson Harper.
William Jackson.
William Jackson
Actually,
Harper.
His real name is William Fitzgerald Harper. know professionally
Where did
as
you get Jackson from then?
William Jackson Harper. God knows.
Well, he's gonna have to explain that.
Because Fitzgerald's was giving me scandal.
Fitzgerald is giving me Grey Gatsby time.
Oh yeah.
You should be wearing a top hat in the tailcoat.
That's what it changed it to Jackson's. Like, now I want you to know I'm black. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm not. Someone says, "Yeah, we've got William Fitzgerald Harper." I don't think we do. I don't think we do. But apart from him, they be pairing this girlie up with people that you're like, in what universe?
No, because the one
in what universe?
Because when we
I love Chris O'Dowd. Like, as a person, I love Chris O'Dowd. I just felt like these two people don't even exist in the same universe.
No, that's...
Like, they don't exist in the same world.
That was in The Incredible Jessica James. One of the worst things I've watched on Netflix.
Horrible film.
It's one of the worst. I mean, I only recently watched...
but a perfect precursor to this.
Yeah, exactly.
In terms of basically getting her to star across a white man that we've decided culturally that we're like...
Great.
Thumbs up. Not that we find hot. We've decided we like him.
You can come to the barbecue.
And then we get this woman, this absolute Arizona of a woman, and we're like, yeah, these two people. Even his wife before, I was like, he didn't get this woman.
No.
Come on now.
The casting was incredible.
The daughter and the mum.
Oh.
Is that not her real? I was thinking, they have to be related.
No, they're not related.
They have to be related.
They're not related. No, they're not related. I saw them, I was like, the mum.
Check.
She's not related.
She doesn't have a daughter, and the daughter has a different name.
No, they're not even related at all.
That's crazy.
Not related at all, no. Yeah. She looks...
Yeah, the mum and the daughter look like spit of each other. It's very dark.
Yeah, it's actually
They're not related.
Scary.
Yeah, it's
scary.
very dark.
But, yeah, I think... that part... I was kind of thrown off. There's a lot of side characters that I don't even think is worth us reviewing.
I really like Liz's husband.
Yeah, he seems to be...
What I liked about Liz and the husband is I do feel like as a comedy trope, the idea of like the really pushy, dominant wife and her sort of soft plays along with her husband. I liked this. I liked it in here. Maybe I just like it as a trope.
Yeah.
But I liked it in here. I also liked it when he was like to her, when she was like, and he's like, I'm retiring and I'm going to be in the house all the time. So you need to go find something that you want to do outside if you don't want to be around me. Okay? Because he's like, I worked for the past 15, 20 years. Yeah. I've earned this time. If you don't want to be around me, that's
how we all feel.
And I said, do you know what? He's got a bit of a back to him.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when you see couples like that, usually you're just like, what, this guy just takes. And this woman is constantly giving.
Yeah.
And I don't get how they function on a day-to-day basis because she seems like she hates him.
Yeah.
But actually, as the series goes on, you kind of feel like, oh no, he's the only person in the world who likes her.
Yeah, it's true. Because even Krista Miller, who plays Liz, she plays a very similar role to what she does in Scrubs. Honestly, because I've only seen her in a few things. I will say I do love her, but I'm not. Again, we're not objectifying bodies. But the plastic surgery for real, the fillers and the Botox, it's not even just so obvious. It is so noticeable in terms of her acting. Like, I'm not saying it as a face thing. I'm just saying it really has impacted the way that she expresses herself.
I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I may have to cut this out, but it's just so much. And then in Scrubs, they used to actually make a joke from it. Like, they'll make jokes of her, like, super overfilling her face and overfilling her lips and everything, and it was all part of the skit because the partner that she was with on the show, or her ex, was not Kelso, what's his face, who I absolutely loved, from Scrubs. What was his name? Oh God, it's gonna annoy me. He played Perry. Hey, Perry Cox. He played Dr. Cox, yeah. And Dr. Cox was like mean, hard-headed, bullish, arrogant, and they had this kind of tit-for-tat type of relationship, even though they were divorced. So it worked in that sense, and seeing her play a very similar character in this role. Again, it's nice to see her in this role, but again, I'm sorry because it almost became so distracting. And I know we're not really supposed to talk about it, but let's talk about it. It is distracting when you are so filled with plastic surgery that your face finds it difficult to animate and to emote. That is your job.
I just thought she was a bad actress.
No, I think some of it is to do with plastic surgery. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm sure that's true. I don't know. I don't know. I just read it. It's a very weird character as well. I think it's a hard character to play because she's quite unlikable, and I think she does a really good job at trying to make her sympathetic. I think the other person we have to talk about, of course, is Harrison Ford.
Yeah, let's talk about him.
Who I had to Google yesterday to double check. He doesn't actually have Parkinson's.
No, he doesn't.
No, I had to double check because I was like, oh, he really seems decrepit in the show.
Yeah, I mean, he's 80 years old.
I know, but bloody hell.
I mean, when I saw him, I was like, I've been a fan of Harrison Ford since the Indiana Jones days, and...
Was you even born?
I wasn't born when it came out.
Yeah,
no,
be for real.
No, be for real.
I loved him since the Indiana Jones days. You didn't exist about...
I was watching a TikTok about this where the girl was talking about some songs in the early 2000s that we were like, you know, Gen Zs will never understand how this song really changed our lives. And then the Gen Zs responded like, no, but we were born, we know how you guys feel, we experienced that feeling too. Fam, some of you guys weren't even born yet.
You guys were 2 years old,
so,
grow up.
Come on. No, I mean, so going back, what I meant by that is that when I was younger, we used to watch Indiana Jones on like ITV1 and BBC when they would play the film. And so I have been a massive fan of Harrison Ford since when I watched it when I was old enough to
Yeah, which was
so.
2 weeks ago.
Shut up.
Shut up. Ford fans for 2
Shut
weeks.
up. So, no, but again, I've never seen him in a comedic role. Even though, like, in Indiana Jones, he was funny. Like, he would have some funny, like, one-liners, but I've never seen him play or be in a comedy setting. And so I think he brought some humour, you know, with what he did with what he could have with the material.
But what is interesting, when you were going through the things, the creators, and you mentioned Brett Goldstein. Brett Goldstein plays, what's his name in Ted Lasso? He's,
Sorry, I should be checking this now.
I want to say Harry Crane, which is not his name for sure. His name is Roy Kent. And I said Crane. So that's close. He plays Roy Kent. Nice. And Roy Kent is this like...
So I've never seen him before.
This is not the time to be doing...
He's British as well.
Yeah. But it's not 42. The time to be... Listen, it's not time for you to be leching on men. We've already said, well, this is not that time. Stop objectifying the boys.
How tall is he?
He's not that tall. He does not look that tall. But he...
5'11". Not bad.
For you. His character, before you stop distracting me.
Okay.
His character on Ted Lasso is this sort of gruff, leave me alone, I don't want to be friends with anyone, swear a lot, stay away from me type of guy. And I feel like he's kind of a precursor a bit to... And Brett Goldstein also is, I think at this point, maybe a producer, but story produced.
On Ted Lasso?
On Ted Lasso.
Okay.
There is no way that now that I know that the connection, Harrison Ford's character is very much just I'm an older, gruff, personal space, socially disconnected type of person, holds everyone at arm's length, but, you know, has a heart of gold and will do whatever it takes. And you see that in his relationship with Alice. Like, he might be a prick to Jim, but he's very caring towards Alice. And he sort of has this love-hate thing with Gabby, where Gabby just likes him, but he seems to... he's resistant to how much she likes him and wants to be a part of his life. And at the end, he gives her a speech of recommendation rather than a letter. So that she can get a job, but she'd already got the job. But it was nice for her to hear that he actually liked her.
That was a really touching moment, because like when he said, "Oh, she's got the job already," and he's like, "Well, I'm going to continue now," and he just, you know.
He also, as I mentioned before, the character has Parkinson's, and one of the things that he has to deal with over the show is that he hasn't told his daughter, who lives not nearby, I guess.
No.
Who's played by the lovely Lily Rabe, and
what's she been in?
American Horror Story.
Oh, okay.
He, you know, doesn't want to tell her, doesn't want to be looked at differently, doesn't want to become the like sad parent that she has to look after. Like, all of that stuff was really interesting to me. I don't think we explored that, like, I don't want to be a burden thing. and what that means, I guess, on a individual level as well, which is that, like, in admitting to you that I have this thing, I have to admit to myself that I am going to be a person who needs help one day.
Yeah.
And one day soon, and that can be quite tough. So, I liked that, but his story's quite thin as well. Like, it takes pretty much the whole season for him to show his daughter, and then he starts having sex with his daughter. But they had chemistry.
Oh, I agree. I think they did. They had
of all of the romances on the show,
and Mike
they
Fury
had
and his husband. Yeah, they.
I wouldn't even say that they had chemistry so much as they were like, we love each other.
Yeah, to be perfectly honest, going back to what you were saying, I think there was a lot of just very thin storylines, multiple thin storylines, and when you put them together, they make an okay sandwich to eat. Ooh. But did I feel like I got some meat from the? I don't know where the analogy.
So are you saying a sandwich is nothing unless it has meat in it? Because that's very disrespectful to vegetarians, vegans.
Because they have fake meat. All I'm just saying is just like
you didn't say that. But
so let's use a burger analogy. I think there's a lot of thin layers to that burger, and so
why don't you use a lasagna?
Yeah, that's very true.
Or an onion.
Okay, that's true. But I just want you to know that
layers in a burger.
Yeah, I just want you to know there's multiple different layers. Onion has only one layer.
No, it doesn't.
Only one type of layer of onion.
But they're different thickness.
Yeah, but it just doesn't add to the analogy. You said this is not so thin
layers, but onions have thick layers.
What I'm just saying is like a normal burger would have the bun, the burger meat, the lettuce, tomato,
so
cheese.
You call the lettuce a layer?
Okay, all I'm saying is
tomatoes are a layer.
Yes, a layer in my burger. All I'm gonna say is this. I felt
you're unhinged.
I'm not unhinged. Actually, let's go to afternoon tea. On your afternoon tea, you have different layers of food.
Yeah.
I think there were just too many thin layers to make this into a sustenance meal.
What is the thin layer of your afternoon tea? What are you counting as a thin
layer?
Half
a scone.
That's not even a layer. That's half a scone. A little bit of
clotted cheese. Cream.
Cream.
Yeah. Look, what I'm trying to say is just like, was this the best thing I've watched this month? No.
I agree with you. I feel like the problem with this is it's that how do you straddle the line of comedy and drama, right? Yeah. Ted Lasso to me is more of a comedy than it is a drama.
I need to watch Ted Lasso. I may have to watch it on your Apple TV, but that's okay.
Go off. This felt more like a drama than a comedy. Or like it should have been, because it was tackling quite big things, right?
Yeah.
But because it's got we're a comedy in mind, everything is sort of surface level, because the whole point of a comedy is that these characters need to be like thinly drawn, because it's about the situation.
Yeah.
Right? You take not thinly drawn, thinly is not the right word, but like basically drawn.
Yeah.
Right? So you take someone like Harrison Ford who hates connecting people and you put him in a party.
Yeah.
And this will be a funny situation for him because he hates people. Or you take a character like Harrison Ford who's like straight-laced and then you give him drugs and now it's like, oh, it's funny because he's on drugs. Like, that's the situational comedy aspect of it. But sometimes that means that your drama suffers.
Yeah.
Because when you hit those big emotional moments, like we said, I don't understand the relationship between Jessica Williams and
Liz.
Jason Segel.
Oh, Jason Segel, yeah.
I've not seen any chemistry up to this point, right? So when you try and convince me that they've had sex, all I can think is this another comedic moment to be like, imagine if you had sex with your dead wife's best friend.
I mean, even when they were having sex, they were trying to make jokes out of it, like, your penis is like this. I'm like, don't want to know. What
I found really interesting about it was that, like, her character's so upbeat and bubbly that when they had sex, she was like, yeah, no, great dick, really fun, really fantastic. And I was like, I'm not saying that you don't say that to someone when you have sex with them, but like, how convenient. Like, imagine if they had sex that was like, that was terrible. Not only did we betray your dead wife's honour, it wasn't even good.
That would be hilarious.
It was pants.
Honestly, that would be comedy.
And now I've got just a horrible memory of your weird penis. And you've got the horrible memory of my weird vagina. I don't know how, whatever. But like, that.
Yeah.
You could have played that beat either way, and I felt like the show is really gearing in the same way that Ted Lasso does, which I think makes some people switch off, is like, optimism.
Yeah.
So this has to end on a high note and not a low note. And so even if he's had sex with his wife's best friend, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. It's like, no, you're right?
Yeah.
Where's the conflict between...
No.
Because it's so weird. Like, Jessica Williams' character is like, yeah, no, I had a chat with Tia in my head and she said it's fine. What a weird way to move the story forward.
Yeah.
What would have been more interesting is if they'd sat down and been like, what we did was bad, right?
Yeah,
it was bad. It was good, though.
But it was bad. Yeah,
and we should never do it again.
And then, but
it was bad.
We've seen this before. We've seen that kind of...
Which is fine. No, 100%.
And then as they're arguing, they just kiss. And then they're like, oh, wait.
No, silly, bad.
Yeah.
But then at least we're in this new place where it's like, oh, these people... Because they've unlocked this box now, they can't put it back in.
But I think
the genie's out the bottle.
Yeah, it's true. But one thing, actually, I can't remember what show it was where we said the minute you start talking about the romance takes over the show.
Yeah.
What show were we talking about? Or maybe we were just talking about it in general. And I think actually this is
you fall in love, it will ruin the show.
Not even just ruin it. It just takes over every storyline. This is one of the occasions where they introduced this romance, which was very
in like episode 7 or 8, so they don't really care.
Very late, yeah. Almost becomes so throwaway that it doesn't take over the series. Like even though they've slept together, and they make mention to it a couple of times before it ends, to me that is a B story, C storyline, and I think maybe in series 2 it may develop because there will be feelings because someone's gonna catch.
There's feelings before that. It's interesting that you say that because they have sex multiple times after they have sex, but at the wedding, Liz says to Gabby, "Oh, are you sure this is just safe dick? Because you're looking at him like, wow." And then Gabby's like, "Oh shit!" So she's acknowledged, like, "Yeah, I do have feelings for him."
And I think that will probably come in series 2,
which is very crazy because we see them have sex maybe twice.
Yeah.
So if you've been wanting to fuck the old dude from the beginning,
what
I don't believe is you just fall in love with someone, right? You were my wife's best friend, so it's a good chance that you knew me beforehand.
Yeah.
And when you knew me beforehand, did you want to fuck me?
That's why I was like, it's messed up. It honestly is messed up, and because we don't know what happens to the mum, that's what's made me feel like. Or the mum or the wife, talking of Alice and talking of Tia, that's why I'm like, was it one of those things where it was an instant she passed away out of the blue and no one expected it? Or was it something like she had an illness and it like grew and developed and deteriorated and then she knew she was passing and then she gave the blessing? Like, we don't know that storyline.
No.
So, but either way, it is still suspect. It's still suspect. I don't know. Anyway, look,
Me personally, I'm giving all of my girls permission to fuck my husband.
We want to talk about this. We're not going to,
you guys can run a train on him.
Absolutely.
Each and every one of you have to sleep with him.
Absolutely.
But otherwise, it's just going to be a real shame.
I think girl code lasts for life and death.
No. I want you to have told me beforehand whether or not you think he's hot. And then on my deathbed, I'll be like, I have one last gift to bequeath. Oh my God. Shoshanna, you've always liked my husband's butt.
What?
You have my permission to touch this butt when I'm dead. And then just a beep. Pass away immediately.
No way. No,
he comes in crying, shaking that ass, being like, what happened?
We were talking about this.
And you're like, no!
About how close, like, do we want our partners all to be together with our friends? And these are one of the few occasions where I'm like, keep them separate.
Well, I'm telling you now, if you die and your husband's hot, and I'm single,
I'm gonna be like, God, am I allowed to come down on earth and just tell this girl?
And he's gonna say, no.
You
in heaven now, enjoy
God,
heaven.
Can you
stop looking.
Throw her aside.
Close the window.
Throw her aside.
Close the blind.
This is not,
stop looking down
cool.
there. Keep your eyes up.
No, God
keep your eyes up.
Me and God will be having conversations about this.
God will not be having conversations. He'll be like, why do you want to worry about what's going on earth, Shoshanna? That planet's about to explode. I'm
not worried about earth.
That planet's going to...
God,
4 minutes, there will be no earth. Don't worry about it.
I know that I am here. I know I'm here with you, and I'm really loving this time in heaven. But please, can you please speak to my friend?
I will speak to your friend, but you have to go back down to hell.
I'm not going there. I'm not going to hell. There's no back to you. There is no...
Are you arguing with me?
No
I'm good.
God. No God.
No, I didn't think so.
No God.
So we're going to leave this here. I don't want to hear back again.
We're done. We'll end this story right now.
Great.
All I'm going to say is it's suspect, okay?
And I have... What's the old saying? I've got a plan. So let my plan play how my plan's supposed to play.
All I'm going to say is girl code.
And the plan is playing the way the plan's supposed to play. When me and your husband are 19, we're like, haven't we had the best life, my love? Everything worked out for us.
Going to get No, absolutely.
And then we both fall asleep
in
each other's arms for the last time. Wake up in heaven. We're like, oh, hey.
And I'll be like, oh, you're back. Hey. Let's have a chat. Grab you.
Hey, girl.
I've been waiting for my husband.
Hey.
Not so he's been with you.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Don't hey girl me. Hey, I've been seeing what we're gonna on earth.
No, because you look so good.
No, I'm done.
Do us a 12.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. I'm wearing the exact same thing you are because we're in heaven, girl.
I love this look on you, honestly.
There's also the
I'll be back. I'm gonna go see my mum's here somewhere. I'm gonna go say hi, and I'll be right back.
I'll be
right back.
I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you.
I am not coming back. She seems big mad about this.
I literally be running. I'm like, I'm gonna come follow you to your mum's. Like, knock.
She seems big mad, and I don't get why. This is heaven. We're all supposed to be happy. Like, move on. It's just like in Rye Lane. We're sitting down to squash the beef. Why are you still getting on about it? It's been 50 years.
No.
Damn.
Okay.
Is this what you've been doing up here?
No.
In God's armpit. And you're spending time bitter. No. You've got to open your heart to love.
Don't do this. My heart was open to love. I've been waiting for him for so long.
We can share him.
There's no sharing in heaven.
Who said?
There's no sharing husband.
Where did it say in heaven there's no sharing?
He actually says in heaven that
of course we share.
husband and wives will not
exist.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what are you upset about?
I'm actually because fam on earth I saw what you were doing.
So what are you upset about? On earth you didn't see nothing because she was dead.
No. I saw because God was like the clouds departed so I could see what was going on.
Why is God grading you? That doesn't sound like a God thing at all. Being like, oh, Shoshanna, have you... Shoshanna, if you just look over there,
we're now gonna move on from this skit because I'm just my eyes are open. My eyes are open because I don't want to be in the Ten Commandments said do not copy your friend's husband.
But my friend is dead, so he's not your husband anymore. You don't have
earthly
claim to this man. You're dead
for life.
He said,
in sickness
do us part.
We're moving on from this skit. Just so my eyes are so open now. So like
you've been parted. Death do you part?
May no one put asunder. Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't put it asunder. Death has parted.
The thing is with Tia's character, we don't know because Gabby could be part of it.
She killed her.
We'll find out in series 2.
Series 2 is how did Gabby get away with murder?
Yeah, true. Completely different show.
What would you give this out of 5?
I would give it a. What did I give imprisoned? Imprisoned, excuse me.
Imprisoned.
What did I give imprisoned? I think I was going to give it 2.5. But I want to double check what I gave on prison first.
No, I don't think you should be double checking. I don't like this. Just say what's in your heart right now.
2.5.
Okay, so that's how. I'm going to give it a 3.
Wow.
I liked the later episodes a bit more. When Jim was getting it together, I think that I have a latent enjoyment of when people throw up in a show.
Oh my god, that part.
I just think he did a really good sound of throwing up. You know, sometimes people were like throwing up, it just doesn't even sound like, no, it's not how it sounded like. It really did sound like he was vomiting.
That moment made me always remember, like, there is always going to be a main character, and the main character will always steal the show. Main character energy.
Who do you think it was, the piano?
No, Jason Segel is the main character.
Of course he's the main character. Was that ever in dispute?
No, but I'm just like, a main character will always steal the show. Everything will always be in the gaze of the main character.
Yes, for sure.
And that was an example of that.
What's crazy is that Gabby sees that and is like, I'm going to sleep with that man.
The same night, fam. You see, again.
She said something about you vomiting on the key. Oh, do you know what? It was also, one last thing about the show. Have you seen the film Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
No, I haven't.
So,
I've heard a lot of the references.
Jason Segel is brilliant in the film Forgetting Sarah Marshall, but one of the beats in that film is that he is writing a Dracula-themed pop musical with puppets, and at the top of this show, he's sitting in the dark and his daughter comes in and she says something like, why are you sitting in the dark? And he does his Dracula voice. And I thought, that's a really fun nod to Forgetting Sarah Marshall. But also it made me think, has Jason Segel only really got like a one
type of role?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, actually...
I'd love to see him play a murderer. He could do it. He's big.
He could, yeah.
And kind of weird looking.
Yeah. Because I remember in How I Met Your Mother, he was goofy and really sweet and lovable, and he was definitely giving big boy energy, like our favourite Austin Martin.
If you say big boy one more time, that's made me ill.
Minus the bar. But, yeah. What? Segel was giving big boy in How I Met Your Mother.
Being tall doesn't make you a big boy.
No, but he was a... Okay, we're gonna stop.
Being tall doesn't make you a big boy. Let's move on.
We're gonna move on.
I gave it a 3, you gave it 2.5.
I didn't get the numbers for Unprisoned. We have to listen back.
What are we watching next week?
So next week we're watching Daisy Jones and the Sixth. It's on Amazon Prime Video. I'm excited about this one. Music show stars Riley
Keough.
Oh goodness, Keough. Excuse me.
Who is
the granddaughter?
Yeah.
Of.
Yep.
Elvis Presley.
Yep. And she's in Zola. She's very good in Zola, so I'm excited.
What's Zola?
It's a film.
Okay.
By A24, have you heard of them? Have you heard of them?
I have watched... I know about A24.
Thank you.
We should do a bit of a deep dive into them. I'm so intrigued.
It's their 10th anniversary.
We saw that in the cinema. And they
put A24 just changing the diet completely changing the cinematic landscape.
I'll be honest, they're making people want to go back to the cinema.
Yeah, for sure.
And that is not a bad thing. Because the last people...
Single-handedly.
The last people that were able to get people into the cinema, bums on seats, was the Avengers.
Yeah. Marvel, A24, and biopics are kind of the only things to get people into the cinema.
Not even remakes, man. No one cares about
Not
seeing...
really.
No.
That being said, everybody should watch Elvis.
Oh, I need to watch Elvis.
Everyone should watch Elvis. Austin Butler does deserve a Best Actor Academy Award. Whoever won it, give it to him.
Brendan Fraser for The Well, which
I
haven't
seen The Well yet.
So
let me see The Well.
I've heard The Well was really good.
But Austin Butler is very good at Elvis. Yeah. I'm sorry. All of the people that clown him, you could never be Austin Butler. You could never do what he did.
What? Where can you watch Elvis that's not in the cinema?
Sky.
Oh, okay, great.
Get Sky, you cheap whore.
Great.
Anyway.
Alright.
This has been Scripts and Giggles.
Yeah.
With Shoshanna.
And Marnie. It felt so odd. Never had to do that before.
Who is who?
Who is who?
Bye.